此时，中国究竟对美国持怎样的态度，这一点尚不明确，所以美国认为要先派密使进行试探。
He came to China at the order of his boss, President Richard Nixon, to explore China's mood toward America, how China feels about America, how China look at the present, the then international situation, what China would consider in order to improve relations between China and the United States.
That if we advertised the trip before I went, opponents of the relationship would start setting criteria of what had to be achieved and attach conditions and pay attention in a way that would have made it impossible to have those conversations in such an atmosphere.
I worked on the preparation for the trip at the State Department, but was never told what the trip was about, what the papers I was writing were for. Since I had read the record of the Warsaw talks, I knew, because in fact we proposed such a presidential visit to China, or a visit of an envoy at the last Warsaw talk. So having read that record, I knew what was about to happen.
总理决定成立一个班子，是由总理亲自挂帅，然后有叶帅、叶剑英元帅、黄华、张文静、熊向晖组成一个小组，在钓鱼台4号楼、5号楼，就5月份就开始准备了。准备工作就是要资料，各种准备的这个资料，对基辛格的了解，对尼克松的了解，对整个形势的研究，那么将来怎么对付？那么到7月份的时候，信息已经传过来，那是秘密的。我们的几个人到那个秘密的地方去接那个电话，翻译，再传信，其他人都不知道。
1971年。基辛格收到期盼已久的一封来自中国的密信，邀请他访问北京，为美国总统访华铺路。这封来自周恩来总理的手书，是通过当时巴基斯坦总统叶海亚汗辗转送到基辛格手中的。
基辛格那个时候是尼克松派他到南越，到泰国，到巴基斯坦来访问。根本没有说过到中国，不可能的，因为当时不可想象的，中美两个是敌对国家，怎么能够，这么高级的特使来访问呢
？7月6日晚，基辛格在巴基斯坦总统叶海亚汗的招待宴会上，突然腹痛难忍。
这个跟叶海亚汗总统是已经没谋好的。就是说，哟，你肚子疼，大概因为我们伊斯兰堡天气太热，你到我北边的总统官邸去休息去。那么对外就说去养病去了，休息去了，其实他没去，是秘密的做了他们的外事秘书的苏尔坦汗的这个驾驶的专用的军用汽车，戴着墨镜，戴着大檐帽，4个人。就到机场。
Just at the last moment, he did get nervous, and he did say to the president, he was leaving from Pakistan to fly to Beijing, and he said to the president of Pakistan, "Will you come with me?" And the president of Pakistan said, "No, I can't leave what I'm doing here." And so Kissinger went off. But it was stepping into an unknown world for Kissinger.
我们决定，那个派一个8航的专机，张文静。那个时候是美大师师长，还有王海荣是礼宾司副司长，还有翻译唐文生，还有唐龙斌是礼宾司的，专门到巴基斯坦去接呢，而且是非常保密的。
We had to leave Pakistan very early in the morning to get here by noon because of time difference, and so we left when it was dark, and there was a bed in the back of the plane where I stayed. And Winston Lord went to the front of the plane where the pilots were. And so he has always said, and he's right, that he got to China 10 seconds before I did.
1971年7月9日12点15分，飞机准时降落在北京的南苑机场。叶剑英、黄华等人已早早等候在此。第一个走下飞机的是基辛格，没有欢迎仪式。简单的寒暄过后，叶帅陪同基辛格坐上红旗轿车，朝钓鱼台国宾馆驶去。
他有点紧张，开头很拘束。他第一次我们在5号楼会谈的时候，他们4个人嘛，还有一个保镖就不进来了，他就带了一大架的文件，他们算了一下有7公分，这么厚，所以他开始就是照本宣读。这个总理呢，什么文件没有？就一张纸，一支铅笔，什么东西没有。他很紧张，照本宣读，一页一页的念，整整7公分的文件。那么后来总理就跟他开玩笑，他说：“你不要念嘛呀，随便讲嘛。”
And we would meet usually early in the afternoon, and then work for 15 hours, and he was never interrupted. So he did me the courtesy of, or honor of, spending all this time. He was always calm, but very intelligent. I think of him with great respect. When I came here the first time, I had prepared a speech which I delivered to Zhou Enlai, and there was one sentence in it that said, "So here we are in a country of mystery." And Zhou Enlai held up his hand and said, "Do you mind if I interrupt you? But can you tell me what is so mysterious about China?" Well, I didn't have a good answer to that. So he said, "There's 1 billion of us, and it is not mysterious to us. Think about that." What I learned from that is to learn more about China.
这个人呢，很有学问，他是一个学者，而且他用的语言呢都是带哲学性的，句子很长，不是一个演说家那种很那个简短扼要的，每一句句子就很长很长，所以记他的东西呢很不容易。
中美高层的首次谈判的过程十分艰难。
And there were very, very difficult issues in that first visit. One of the difficult issues was the Americans were pushing for some sort of statement on Vietnam and the Soviet Union. The Chinese were not going to give it, whereas the Chinese wanted a firm statement on Taiwan that the Americans would undertake to pull out and drop their support for it. And neither side was going to do that.
每天开到半夜2、3点钟，回来我的整记录，有的时候是开到11点，我1个小时的会议。我要花4个小时的整理，因为我是速记，记下来以后要打出来，还要翻成中文，每天工作到早晨5点。
I thought the Chinese leaders would be like Russian leaders, I admit. And of course, there is a big cultural difference. And the historic difference in conduct between the two societies. So I was used to the Cold War Russia, which was more confrontational and which made an issue of every little thing became a contest. And the Chinese leaders, when I met them, were concentrating on fundamentals, and smaller things could be settled very quickly.
会谈达成了一个最大的成果，那就是双方商定了基辛格此次访华以及中方将邀请尼克松访华的公告。
There can be no stable and enduring peace without the participation of the People's Republic of China and its 750 million people.
这个电视讲话就像一颗重磅炸弹，震惊了全世界。
The announcement I shall now read is being issued simultaneously in Peking and in the United States. Knowing of President Nixon's expressed desire to visit the People's Republic of China, Premier Zhou Enlai, on behalf of the government of the People's Republic of China, has extended an invitation to President Nixon to visit China. President Nixon has accepted the invitation with pleasure.
Virtually the next morning, Kissinger got a phone call from the Soviet ambassador in Washington saying, when would you like the summit? We can have it any time. And the Americans then played it very cool, and they said, no, we're already going to China, thank you very much, we'll see you after we go to China. And so it was a way of putting pressure on the Soviets.
The State Department, obviously, as a whole, if you can describe it, felt that it had been cut out.
Nixon did not like the State Department in the United States. He didn't trust them. He felt they were liberals, they were people who wouldn't be in sympathy with his goals. I mean, Nixon was a Republican and had certain goals in the world. And so he had a great suspicion of the State Department.
But it was a great shock and surprise to most people on both sides when the news was released.
We hope that our relations with the People's Republic of China will be improved as a result of the trip. We're not sure what the outcome will be, and we certainly don't want any exaggerated hopes to develop.
The first reason, of course, is that we had a formal relationship with Taiwan at that time and recognized them as the government of China. And so therefore, negotiating how we would change our relationship so that we would recognize Beijing as the government of China was difficult.
3个月后，1971年10月，基辛格再次访华。此行的目的是为了给1年的总统访华做准备工作。其中一个重要议题就是商谈《上海公报》的框架。
上海公报呢，就是说，这个美方承认，这个承认是 acknowledge。台湾海峡两边所有中国人都认为只有一个中国 ，acknowledge 要严格的翻就是认识到，他没有一个义务。我认识到你的立场，并不等于我承认你这个立场。Recognize the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government， 它是承认的，这一条最重要，是唯一合法政府。
Again, take the doctor, for example. For me personally, you are always a star. Taiwan is part of China, and the American government does not challenge that position. This is terrific. From that time on, I told myself, to be a good diplomat, you have to learn from this great diplomat from across that big lake, the Pacific Ocean, the US.